they're probably not happy about that.
I wonder if they forgot to turn them back to red, white, and blue.
Governor Huckabee was at the game.
He sure was. I think we're going to bring in Governor Huckabee right now. Governor, good morning.
He's out in Los Angeles this
morning. Good morning, and I assure you, I was not at the hockey game. I wouldn't know a hockey stick from a golf club.
Spoken like a true Arkansan. So I want to get your response to what's happening in Iraq this morning. The country seems to be falling apart. Militants marching on Baghdad, leaving chaos and beheadings and crucifixions in their wake. It's all falling apart. And here's the president reacting to this news. Watch this.
We'll be monitoring the situation in Iraq very carefully over the next several days. Our top priority will remain being vigilant against any threats to our personnel serving overseas. We will consult closely with Congress as we make determinations about appropriate action. I have asked my national security team to prepare a range of other options that could help support Iraq security forces, and I'll be reviewing those options in the days ahead.
Reviewing those options, these guys seem so ill-prepared, surprised, and passive in the face of this. Is that your response to this?
Absolutely, Tucker. The only people that are more surprised by everything that happens would be the economists, who are always surprised if the numbers are up or the numbers are down. They're always surprised.
That's so true.
I think this White House is run by a bunch of economists who are always surprised. In fact, President Obama only knew about it after he read it in the papers and saw it on MSNBC. And secondly, I'm sure it was Bush's fault. And third, how can you be President of the United States, have access to the most elaborate intelligence gathering apparatus in the world, and not have a clue that an entire country is about to be overrun?
That's unbelievable.
I mean, this is beyond preposterous.
I mean,
it really is.
We were sharing intelligence with them, with the president of Iraq. We had deep intelligence sharing capabilities with this country. The fact that this sort of snuck up on us makes absolutely no sense.
You know, I have to believe that there was better intelligence, but there was no response to it, because we've got some good professional people in the intelligence and security agencies in the United States. So, you know, I don't want to say that they were inept in doing their jobs, but somebody up the chain of command isn't paying attention, because this doesn't fit the narrative. The narrative is, we won in Iraq. We've done everything we needed to. We got out of there, and it's stable. This doesn't fit the narrative, and this is a White House that every time the story, the reality, doesn't meet their story, they deny the reality and continue to tell their story until it's no longer possible to do. And that's what's happening in Iraq. They can't ignore this anymore. The whole country is spiraling into absolute chaos and mayhem. And what a disaster.
Governor, what's the danger of us waiting to act on this? I mean, we hear about these militants, these jihadists encircling Baghdad, stockpiling weapons, beheading people, going town to town, innocent people. We had Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters on the channel last night, and he said that there's a danger that our embassy could suffer some sort of attack if we don't act quickly. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think from all we gather, people are being told, get out of Iraq. Of course they're being told that. But here's the real problem. What do? We're not going to send ground troops in there, and even the president has said that's not an option. What, are we going to bomb some people? I mean, here's the real question. Did we not have any contingencies drawn up for the what-ifs? I mean, the one thing that the military is good at is putting together contingencies. And they have notebook after notebook after notebook filled with the what-ifs. My question is, did you honestly think that there was no chance whatsoever that al-Qaeda would rear its ugly head, and in this case ISIS, that they would rear their ugly head and try to get back that which was in essence sort of taken from them? Of course we should have seen this coming. And the fact that it caught everybody off guard is absolutely stunning and a show of the arrogant incompetence of this administration when it comes to foreign policy.
But don't just take your word for it. It's not simply Republicans and conservatives who are shocked and really worried by the Obama administration's lack of a coherent foreign policy. Here's a tweet from Rosa Brooks. She's a former Obama official, State Department official, and I know her, and no conservative. She's a liberal, but she's honest. She said this: U.S. response to Syria, Russia, Iraq, number 1, huh? 2, we're watching this closely. 3, with concern. 4, hey, stop. 5, we won't tolerate that. 6, whatever.
Wow.
Have you seen a crisper summation?
It was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was pretty powerful that she just essentially cuts their legs off in a matter of tweets. But, you know, the real sad thing is there was a time when America had such strength and the respect that the rest of the world had for us that just simply sort of lifting our hand would have been enough for countries to have said, maybe we better not go there. Nobody fears us. I mean, who would it be? Certainly not Russia, not Syria, not China. Not ISIS, you know, Iran doesn't. They're going ahead and building their bombs because we're going to make peace with them. This is what I think people need to wake up and understand what's happening. This is a nation, the United States of America, that once held, at least, people maybe didn't love us, but they feared us. They don't fear us, they don't love us, they don't respect us. And I've asked Democrats, name one country on earth with whom we have a better relationship now than we had in 2009 when this man took office, and not even the staunchest Obama supporters can name one country with whom we have that better relationship. Because the truth is, Tucker, we don't.
Well, Governor, I want to get your take on the latest news out of the IRS scandal. And it turns out, because the IRS now claiming that they've lost over 2 years worth of Lois Lerner's emails to and from the White House. They say the computer crashed and all the emails are simply erased, gone. What do you make of this? That's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, my dog ate my homework. Come on. First of all, this is nonsense. I mean, this is the most obtuse administration when it comes to being honest and forthright. I think what we have to worry about, I think the FBI could probably go back and retrieve those emails, because in many cases, things that you think are deleted, they really aren't. But do you think Eric Holder would ever allow the FBI to go through those computer hard drives and reconstruct those emails? But secondly, I just don't buy this whole story that the computers crashed. This is what I would call, to borrow a phrase from Al Gore, an inconvenient untruth. This is pure nonsense.
Yes, the FBI goes through computers all the time, and they take fire-damaged computers, and they are able to pull off all sorts of encrypted data that you wouldn't even believe. Maybe we should call the NSA and get them to handle it.
Exactly.
Well, they've already got it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Heck, Edward Snowden may have those emails for all we know.
They're all backed up somewhere.
So who do you have on your show today, Governor?
We've got Congressman Tim Huelskamp, who is one of the people who was kind of punished by the House leadership. He's got a very interesting perspective on this week's loss by Eric Cantor. We'll also have Richard Russell. He'll be talking, Steve Russell, I'm sorry, who was one of the guys who pulled Saddam Hussein out of his hidey hole when they captured him. We'll get his take on what happened in what's happening in Iraq now. I think it's going to be very fascinating because he was there. Yeah. I'm anxious to find out what he thinks about the goings-on and the blood that he saw shed in front of him by his comrades. That's going to be a fascinating story.
And to create his hometown, which has just fallen now to those Sunni insurgents as well. Governor Huckabee, great to see you, as always, out there from Los Angeles this morning. Thanks, as always.
Thank you. Great to be here.